So I can't believe it actually worked, but just over a month ago, I decided to completely change the way I trade and simplify everything. But basically, I managed to secure a payout with Effexify for over $13,000. And then recently, I managed to get a $26,000 payout with Ascendex Capital. That's almost $40,000 in a 30-day period.
Trading is complicated. So for the last 10 months, I decided to record myself testing the world's most simple scalping strategy. And the rules were simple. I just wanted to see how much money I could make without any fancy indicators or expensive tools, so that even if I was a complete beginner with no experience, I could still make money. The results? Well, as you saw, they've been pretty life-changing. But before I reveal the live recording that shows all of my results, let me take you through the exact strategy I used. So the first step was to simplify everything. You see, if you search how to trade on YouTube, you'll likely find a bunch of gurus telling you you need multiple indicators and you need to be trading on 8 different time frames. In fact, this is what my charts used to look like when I used to listen to them as well. But I wanted to see what would happen if I stripped everything back down to the bare basics, ditching smart money concepts and ICT concepts, anything to do with liquidity. So I only used 2 time frames. The first one was the 4-hour chart, and this was like my big map that gave me a bird's eye view of what was happening with price. The second was the 5-minute chart, and this is like my magnifying glass, and it shows me exactly when to enter my trades. Then, to keep things even more simple, I decided to only trade the NASDAQ, whether that be NQ or CFDs, and specifically when the New York Stock Exchange opened. This is because when the market opens, there was the most people trading, which means there's more volume and the market is easier to predict. So this was my starting point, and my charts became clean and easy to understand. And I didn't have a million indicators and timeframes that were constantly giving me conflicting signals. And as you're about to see, even though this simple strategy went against almost all typical guru advice, it helped me make 45K in a 30-day period. But first, let me share with you how I used these 2 simple charts to start winning 70 to 80% of my trades consistently. So when I first started trading, one of the most frustrating problems I ran into was I'd have what I thought to be the perfect setup, only to then have my trade reverse on me and I'd get stopped out. And after months of this, I finally started to notice a clear pattern. I noticed that if I was buying and it was heading straight into a 4-hour resistance like this, I'd often lose trades. So the same thing happened when I was selling into a strong support as well. So what I did was I looked for areas where price had reversed multiple times on the 4-hour time frame, just like this. And then I simply drew lines, one from the candle wick and one to the candle body. And I call this my guardrail system. And basically it helped me stop taking entries that would eventually get me stopped out. So I simply just avoid buy trades that go into the 4-hour resistance and avoid sell trades that go into the 4-hour support. And I basically just stay as far away from these zones as I possibly can. So this helped me figure out where not to trade. But when I needed a simple strategy to actually enter the trades that had a high chance of winning, this is where the 5-minute chart comes in. Right, so once we have our tram lines, we know where not to take trades. All right, we want to be mostly taking trades away from these zones. All right, we want to be very cautious of them. And then once we look to enter on the 5-minute, let's zoom in on the 5-minute time frame here real quick. We can look for a few things. Now, what we're going to do is mark out the zones on the 5-minute time frame like we've done right here. All right, it's really important to note that when we're taking a break and retest of these zones, if we are in the middle, right, like we are right here, if we zoom out, I'm nowhere near these 4-hour zones. I can take trades in either direction, right? because we're nowhere near those zones. However, if the trade entry now sets up and we are towards the top of the zone, we're going to want to be cautious because we could be taking a trade into this tram line, which can act like a brick wall and cause us to get stopped out prematurely. All right. And it's the same for a sell trade. If we're taking a sell trade into this tram line area over here, we could have price bounce off of it and take out our stop loss prematurely. All right. It's very important that you make sure that you are trading away from these areas. So in this kind of scenario, we would be waiting for a buy trade, which will be more highly probable because we won't be trading into this brick wall down here. And these few simple steps completely transformed my trades. As you can see here, I entered this trade within the 4-hour resistance and I exited with a nice profit. It was like suddenly having a map that showed the range I could trade within, and I started to win more and more trades. So by this point, all I had done was draw 2 boxes on the 4-hour time frame and trade either up or down depending on the 5-minute range. 2 steps literally anyone can follow to help them win more trades. But there were still some days where I'd take the perfect setup and my trades would fail. So I decided to test out a filter to try and help weed out some of those losing trades. It only takes about 5 seconds to add this to your charts, but it was extremely successful, and it's called the 50 simple moving average or the 50 SMA. So once I added this to my chart, which you can do just by simply finding it under the trading indicators tab on TradingView and then changing the length to 50. All I would do is actually look to see if price was above or below this line. And if price was above like this, I'd take buy setups. And if price was below, I'd then take sell setups. It was that simple. This was the final piece to the puzzle. By combining the 4-hour chart and the 5-minute time frame and this 50 simple moving average, I went from being a hobby trader that was barely profitable to having my first $45,000 month. And like I said in the beginning, these aren't just big empty claims. I video recorded it all. Every single trade, every win, every loss. No cherry picking, no editing, just raw results. So now let's dive into some of the live recordings and I'll show you exactly how much money you can make once you start to master this strategy. Here's a video of me trading live.
Okay, so I've just hopped into this trade. As you can see, we're in some profit. I will now be going break even once we get to this point, which we are about to cross right here. I'm gonna set my stop loss and take profit real quick. The stop loss I'm setting to entry. Price is pushing a bit further. I may actually not even have time. A stop loss. No, I'm doing this a little late. We've hit take profit over here on our chart. Let's see if we can make it. I'm now going to make sure that my take profit is set to break even. And there we go. We now hit profit and I am out of this trade. We did $4,198.
But like I said, this isn't just some one-off random trade. Here's another trade I took as well, all recorded live.
Right, so we're just hopping into this trade right now based on the breakout and retest of the zone. We're getting in a little bit late here. I'm literally trading while putting my contact lenses on. And my contact lens is done, and we're back in profit. Multitasking at its best. Alright, so it's finally pushed past the zone that I want, and so I'm going to move my stop loss to the entry point. So we are now break even on this trade. So close to the profit target, and it's it's rejecting it, and those are the moments when you really get tested. And there you go, folks. Profit target hit, so $4,000 for the day.
And finally, here are all my winning and losing trades week by week for the last 10 months with the strategy, which I recorded all on live stream. Here is the whole document that you can have a look at week by week. Now, if you want to access the full archive of all of our trades, it's available in our free Discord down below, as well as our free analysis sessions, which we go live with every single day. Now, although I'm super grateful for these results, what gets me even more excited is teaching the strategy to students and seeing them actually get results. Like Rolf, who is in my Inner Circle mentorship program, he messaged me the other day and said, I secured over $1 million in funding and withdrew $1,500 in 2 months. And he gained a clear path to financial freedom with mentorship and the strategy. There's also Hayden, who just recently shared with me that he made over 28K profit on his futures prop firm account, which was live. He managed to then withdraw 3K of it and left in the rest as a buffer on his account so he can make more profit. Him and others were now feeling confident in their trading, and they know the process of getting funded, staying funded, and trading successfully, profitably for the long term. Now, the reason these guys are getting such good results all comes down to one thing. They're no longer trying to trade with 10 different strategies that all contradict each other. You see, YouTube gurus love to say that you need complex indicators, multiple time frames, and secret patterns that only they can teach you, so that you think you need to buy their course to make them work. Well, in reality, all you need is one powerful strategy that has been proven to work, and that's also getting results for other people. Which is why, if you are serious about turning trading into a full-time income, then I highly recommend you check out our Loot Trading Inner Circle. This is a complete mentorship program that I created where I personally guide you to implement this exact strategy correctly. And I help to get you funded in under 60 days guaranteed, or we continue to coach you completely for free. In this program, I personally guide you through each step so that you can secure 6-figure funding, generate consistent withdrawals, and finally achieve the trading freedom you've been chasing, even if you're just getting started with trading. So, for example, I have students like Michael who secured over $1 million in funded accounts and made over $45,000 in payouts in just 2 months. Or Ruan, who secured 225K in funding in 2 months and made over 7K in a month and didn't even have to start the job he was planning for. So if you're serious about becoming a trader who consistently withdraws $10,000, $20,000, or even $40,000 in a month, just like my students have, then here's what you need to do next. Step 1, click the link under this video and watch the free training video below, where I break down how the Inner Circle mentorship works and how you can implement it for yourself. Step number 2 is to then apply for the mentorship program. Once you've applied, I'm personally going to review your application. And if you've been accepted, like I said, I'm going to guarantee that you get funded within 60 days, or I'm going to continue to teach you completely for free. But I need to be clear, I only work with traders who are committed to actual success. And if you're looking for a scheme to get rich quick, or you aren't willing to dedicate 45 minutes of your day to trading, then please don't bother applying at all. I only have 6 spots left in this round of the mentorship, and once they're gone, they're gone. So apply now, and I'll see you in there. Cheers, everyone.